Okay, we will start. So come to lie on the back with the knees pointing towards the ceiling. The feet are grounded. We're going to bring the hands into a version of yoni mudra. So yoni is a Sanskrit word for womb, and mudra is just a hand gesture or a seal. So the index fingers are pressed together and the thumbs are pressed together, and we'll lie down and just place it on the abdomen, on the womb space, with the fingertips pointing downwards towards the legs. Relax the shoulders and allow yourself to just melt into the earth. Take a moment or so to feel grounded and thank yourself for coming to class today. It's always good to get on the mat. You never ever regret doing a yoga class. So just start to center in on the breathing. So we'll do some abdominal breathing. So take a nice big inhale and a long exhale. See if you can feel it coming from the belly. Inhale. So the belly expands, and as you exhale, it depresses. A couple more like this. Inhale. And exhale. And then we'll start to do an audible exhale through the mouth. So this is ocean breath. So inhale through the nose. And then a long exhale through the mouth. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. And as you carry on with this breath, you can start to say silently to yourself on the inhale, I inhale calm. And then on the exhale, I exhale stress. I inhale peace. I exhale overwhelm. I inhale serenity. I exhale anxiety. And just carry on for a few breaths more. The rhythm that suits your body. So this mudra, the thumb represents the fire element and also the Manipura chakra, the third chakra. So this is our personal power, our self-esteem, our motivation in life. And fire also represents transformation. So during the menopause, we experience a big transformation in our lives. The index fingers pressed together represent the air element. So the air element is linked to the fourth chakra, Anahata, the heart chakra. And it represents the element of air, which is our freedom, our joy, our self-compassion. So bringing these two elements together is a perfect symbol for our class today. Take one more breath here. Deep inhale. And let it all go through the mouth. And then extend the legs long on the floor, one by one. And the hands overhead, interlacing the fingers for a full body stretch. And then bring the right knee into the chest, interlacing the fingers around the shin. Deep compression in the hip here. Easy breathing. And then release and extend. Arms go back overhead. And then the left leg comes into the chest. Breathe in deep. And then extend. One more time each side. Inhale the right knee into the chest. And then release. And then the left knee into the chest. and then release. Bring both knees in and give yourself a little squeeze, maybe rocking just gently side to side on the sacrum. And then come to stillness in the center, and we'll start to rock and roll up to seated. So you may take a few goes here, massaging out the spine. And then come up, and we'll come over into tabletop. So the hands are directly underneath the shoulders, and the knees are directly underneath the hips. I'm just going to check that my mic is still working. Good. I'm just going to pad up my knees because I've got a bit of a knee injury at the moment. And we'll work through some cat-cows just to articulate the spine and wake it up. So on an inhale, the belly dips and the chest lifts. As you exhale, round the spine, tucking the tailbone, protracting the shoulder blades and allowing the head to come down. Inhale, reverse the movement, bringing the chest through the gates of the arms, the head lifts, the belly dips. Exhale, round the spine, coming into this hallowing cat shape. Inhale, lift the head, chest through the arms, belly dips. Exhale, round in the spine into cat pose. One more of these. Inhale, lift into cow pose. And then exhale into cat. Neutralize the spine and then bring this right foot forward. So you might need to manually get it there. And we'll come into this low lunge with the knee on the floor. So tree frog the fingertips, lengthen out of the waist, lift the head and allow the hips to dip down. So you should feel a stretch in the left psoas here. And then on an inhale, the body comes up and maybe just rest the hands on top of the knees. And sorry, I should have said before, get your blocks ready at the side of your mat here. So about next to the hips. Then on an inhale, the arms come up to the sky. And as you exhale, the seat will move back, hands come to the blocks or to the floor for a hamstring stretch. So this is a really slow, mindful movement. Inhale, come back up. Exhale, seat comes back, hands come down to the floor or to the blocks. One more time, inhale the arms up to the sky. Then exhale, plant the hands, lift the back knee, and we're going to swivel round to the other side of the mat. So you can use the hands to support you, bringing the right knee down. And we're in a low lunge on this side. So descending into the hips, reaching out the waist, engaging the core. And on an inhale, the arms come up to the sky. And as you exhale, hips come back for this hamstring stretch. So it might be different on this side, and you don't have to straighten the leg. As long as you feel something in the back of the leg, that's fine. Inhale, arms come up. Exhale, hips come back. One more time, arms up to the sky. And then plant the hands, lift the back knee. We'll swivel back round to the front of the mat. Left knee descends, right knee comes back, and we come back into a child's pose. So you can bring the forehead to the earth or stack the fists, whatever feels comfortable for you, and just breathe here. So moving in this slow, mindful way really helps us keep the nervous system calm, which is so important when we're experiencing anxiety or overwhelm, and really at any time during the menopause, because stress is our number one enemy. And then from here, we'll come back up to hands and knees. So building on from that sequence, the right foot steps forward again. So you can use manual assistance, reaching out of the waist, inhaling the arms up to the sky. And this time, as you exhale, lean forward out of the waist and the arms come back. So we're really using the core here. Inhale, come back up. Exhale, lean forward, arms come back. Inhale, arms come back up. Then plant the hands down, lift the back knee, and swivel round to the back of the mat. Right knee descends. Inhale the arms up to the sky. Exhale, lean forward out of the waist. Inhale, lift. Exhale, forward. Inhale, lift. Exhale, forward. And then the hands plant, back knee lifts, swivel back round to the front. This time plant the hands and step back into downward facing dog. So downward facing dog, the hands are around shoulder width, feet around hip width distance, sit bones to the sky, and you can walk out the dog just to get some energy into the backs of the legs, shoulders away from the ears, sit bone is to the sky, and envision that you're elongating your spine here. And then from here, we'll walk the hands back and come into a standing forward fold. So you can bend the knees and lay the torso on the thighs, bring the hands to the floor or to blocks, or you can cup the elbows and just descend over. Breathing here. Sometimes if you place the hands on the floor or blocks and the body has support, you can get a little bit more release because it signals to the brain that you are supported and feel safe. So do whatever feels good for you. And then bring the hands to the hips, and on an inhale, engage in the front spine. We'll come all the way up to standing. So I'm going to turn and face you, but you can still face the top of your mat, and we'll work on a little bit of balance. So stand with the feet hip distance apart, grounding down into all four corners of the feet. Palms face forward and just close the eyes if that feels comfortable for you. We'll come into mountain pose. So chin is parallel to the earth, shoulders are released. And just notice the connection you have with the earth here. So it should be the big toe and the little toe and the inner and outer heels. And breathe here. And then maybe start to rock forwards and backwards on the feet. So moving your center of gravity. So we have tons of muscles in our ankles that support us. And when we're balancing, we can really feel them contracting to help us stay upright. And then maybe start to move the weight in a circle. So perhaps going clockwise, shifting your weight to the front of the foot, to the side, to the back. If you do it with your eyes closed, it's a bit more challenging. And then go the other way. And then just come back to center. Arms come up to the sky. And then bring the left hand down next to the left leg and just reach over with the right arm. So expanding this whole right side body, grounding into the right foot, opening the sides of the ribs, all those little intercostal muscles that help us breathe. Then inhale, come back up, over to the other side. Then inhale, come back up. We'll come to the back of the mat, back into a forward fold. So you may find that you can get a little bit deeper, maybe straighten the legs. It helps if you tuck the belly inside and then walk out slowly to a downward facing dog. Inhale the right leg to the sky, three-legged dog. Exhale, right foot steps up between the hands. So again, you might have to manually get it there. Reaching out of the waist, and we're coming up into high lunge. So the back heel stays lifted, the arms come up to the sky, descending into the hips, knees above the front ankle, front ribs are engaged, shoulders away from the ears. And then we'll move on like we did in the last little flow. So inhale, and then exhale, leaning forward in this lunge. All the weight is coming into this front leg. Inhale, lift. Exhale, forward. Inhale, lift up. One more time, exhale, forward. Inhale, lift up. Interlace the fingers. So I can't remember the Sanskrit name for this, but it's sometimes called Charlie's Angels Mudra. And we'll come into double crescent. So reaching out of the waist, we're going to lean towards the bent leg. So leaning to the side here. This is a lateral bend. You can really feel it in the left hip flexor and down the left side of the waist. And then inhale, come back up, and keeping your mudra, we'll sweep around to the back of the mat. So you're in a high lunge on this side. Plant the hands and step back, downward facing dog. Take a free breath here. And then left leg lifts on an inhale for three-legged dog. Step forward to a low lunge and engage in the core. We'll come back up, high lunge. So the same on this side. Inhale, reach out of the waist, and then exhale, leaning forward. Inhale, lift. Exhale, forward. Inhale, lift. Exhale, forward. Come back up. Interlace the fingers and double crescent on this side. So leaning towards the left thigh, out of the waist, feeling it in the right psoas. Deep breaths. And then inhale, come back up. Keeping the mudra, swing back round to the front of the mat. Release the palms to the floor. Step back, downward facing dog. And then walking the hands back. Standing forward fold. Maybe the legs are straight this time as we've been working on opening the backs of the knees. And then hands come to the hips, engage the front spine, and come up to standing. We're moving to another balance to really tune in our concentration, because when you're in a balance, you can't think of anything else. So we'll start with feet hip distance apart, a bit of buoyancy in the knees, and just move the weight from one leg to the other, lifting the knees up. So try and be as graceful as you can. Shifting the weight from one side to the other, feeling the connection with the earth, with the foot. And then we'll move into Vrikshasana tree pose. So grounding down into all four corners of the left foot, really engage this leg. And it also helps to activate your Mula Bandha, your root lock. So that's the perineum. This gives us a lot of stability in the core. Hands come to the hips. Then externally rotate this right leg. The movement's coming from the hip. So you can stay here with the ball of the foot on the floor and the heel at the ankle. If you want to challenge your balance, you can bring the foot inside the shin or all the way up to the inner thigh. Imagine this glute is like an ice cream scoop, scooping under. Press the foot and the leg together. Find a fixed gazing point, a drishti, and then the hands come together in Namaskar Mudra at the heart. So pressing the right hand into the left and the left hand into the right. If you feel comfortable, you may open it into a lotus mudra. So opening the fingers like a lotus flower. This symbolizes rebirth. And then if you've got your lotus, slowly close the petals, release the knees to face forward, and return to the earth. Maybe shake the hips out a little bit, and we'll do the second side. So grounding into all four corners of the right foot, engaging this leg, engaging your root lock, opening this left knee to the side. You can stay here or come to the shin or to the inner thigh. Hands at the chest. Your glute is an ice cream scoop. Your right leg is activated, fixed gazing point, and maybe a lotus at your heart. Focusing on one point. If you really want to challenge your balance, you can do this with your eyes closed. And then slowly bring the knee back to center and release and shake it out. We'll come to the back of the mat again, and we'll make our way down to the earth. So inhale, arms to the sky. Exhale, forward fold. Walk out to plank. And then lower the knees and scoot them forward. Come over onto the glutes. This is where you might need your belt. So we'll come into Janushirasana, which is head to knee pose. So pull the flesh of the sitting bones directly back. Knee comes into the chest. And then allow it to fall open to the side. So depending on the openness of your hips, your knee might be elevated, and you can always put a block underneath it to support it. Lengthen out of the waist, and we'll be tipping from the hip crease. So this isn't the pose. The pose is tipping from here. So you may only come forward a few degrees, which is fine. You just need to feel a stretch in the back of the hips. You can use a belt here, looped around the ball of the foot, lengthen the spine, and then as you exhale, descend forward. So using the breath to surrender and release. You can close the eyes, and as you breathe deeply, you may find the body allows you to come a little bit deeper. Long, even breaths. Hands can be wherever feels comfortable. Maybe grab the foot, the belt, or just have them on the floor. Long, even breaths. And then on an inhale, slowly come up. Use the hands to help you. This right knee comes back into the midline. Release. Might want to shake out the femur bone in the hip joint there a bit. And we'll do side B. So bringing in the left knee close, and then allow it to flop open. So the sole of the foot is on the inner right thigh. Lengthen out of the waist on an inhale, and as you exhale, come forward from the hip creases and descend. So keeping the spine as straight as you can, allowing the breath to move you closer. The pose is called head to knee pose, but you don't have to have your head on your knee. You may find one side is a lot more open than the other, and that's perfectly normal. Even breathing. And then inhale, slowly come up. So we'll move into a variation of Viparita Karani, which is legs up the wall pose, or inverted leg or waterfall pose. And this is where you'll need your blanket. So if you have access to a wall space, move your mat to the wall. You can also do this in the middle of the room. So you don't necessarily need a wall. We take the blanket, open it up, lay it on the mat so you've got a lot of material at the top end where your head is. Come down to the mat, and this is also where you'll need your belt, your strap. You're going to wrap this, tie this around the thighs. So this will give our legs support, so we won't need to really use muscle engagement. Then, if you have a block or a book, you're going to bring your hips as close to the wall as possible. Get the legs up the wall. So you might have to maneuver a little bit here. Take the block or the book, maybe put it underneath the hips. So this makes it even more of an inversion than it already is. And then reach up and get the blanket. So start rolling it down. So you want to fold it so it comes to the top of your head. And if you live in a hot country, this may not be comfortable, so you don't have to do this bit. Bring it as close to the top of his head as possible, and then take the rest of it, and you're going to tuck it in around the ears and the neck, like so. So this makes you feel really safe, and when you're feeling overwhelmed or anxious, cutting out one of the senses really can conserve your brain energy. So this cuts out all that external noise. You can just allow the hands to flop down on the floor next to you, palms to the sky, with the fingers gently curling towards your heart. And just breathe and melt into the earth here. So this pose is so beneficial to the body. It allows all the lymph to drain from the legs. It's great if you've been on your feet all day. It helps relieve the pressure on the heart because gravity is helping with the blood circulation. And it just makes you feel so refreshed. So we'll be here for a couple of minutes. I will go quiet. And when it's time to come out of the pose, I'll let you know. You just start to tune your hearing in. to the furthest away sound that you can hear. And then tune your hearing into the closest sound that you can hear. Maybe wiggle the fingers a little, bring some circulation back. And then very slowly, if you have a prop underneath your hips, just bend the legs, push off the wall, and release it to one side. And then swing the legs down. I don't believe there's a graceful way to get out of this pose. And slowly, very slowly come back up. Releasing the belt from around the legs. And we'll come to sit in a comfortable seat. So I always like to sit on a block because it allows my hips to be higher than my knees and the spine straight. It's a lot more comfortable. Grab your block, your other block or your book, and we're going to sit here for a moment in a centering. Bring the block or the book and place it on the top of your head. So bring it closer to the hairline. It actually is best to do the cork block, but I don't have one of those. And then very slowly release the hands down to the knees with the palms facing down for groundedness, and close the windows of the eyes. Shoulders are released down the back. This is a time to turn the arrows of attention inward. So this block is on an acupressure point, or we call them mama points, and this mama point is related to stress relief. So just sit here for a moment with this object on your head. Spine is nice and straight. And you can even say internally to yourself as you breathe here, I inhale calm, I exhale stress. I inhale peace, I exhale overwhelm. I inhale serenity, I exhale anxiety. Nice deep breaths. With a longer exhale, it helps us relax even more. Couple more breaths here. And then very slowly, keeping the eyes closed, reach up, lift the object off of your head and just hold it above the head for a moment. So you should feel a lightness around your head. And then very slowly and silently, release the object down to the earth. Make no noise so you don't disturb the nervous system. Bring the palms back to the knees, face down. Just sit here for a moment. If you like, you can come into that variation of Yoni Mudra, so pushing the thumbs together and the index fingers together at the womb space, pointing downwards to the earth, connecting with the element of fire and air, our willpower, motivation, our transformation, and our freedom, joy, and compassion. And then bring the hands to the heart in Namaskar Mudra, prayer mudra. And I'll close the class by bringing the thumbs up to the third eye for clear and loving thoughts to yourself and to others. To the lips for clear and loving communication to yourself and to others. And then back to the heart, spreading universal love to all beings everywhere. Thank you for practicing with me today. Just take a little check over your body and see how you're feeling. Do you feel a little bit less irritated or anxious? And again, thank you for practicing with me. And maybe I'll see you again soon. Thank you. So just make sure for the rest of the day, be nice and calm. Maybe have a nice big glass of water. And let me know how you're feeling. I feel very calm now. I'm restored. The legs up the wall pose always does it for me. Oh, thank you. I'm glad you liked it. Okay, well, I'll end the stream now. Thank you for joining me. I know some of the other people in the group weren't able to join live. I've been doing an online challenge, so this will be here on my channel for people to do when they have the time. Thank you very much, everyone.